What's going on, beautiful people? It is I, your flying locomotive and faster than a speeding bullet SuperCliff, coming at you live with a brand new video. So for today's video, I want to talk about why the Force shouldn't be female and why Star Wars is dying and woke. Just kidding. Rather, I want to talk about why Ahsoka might be the best and the most live-action Star Wars project we've ever gotten from Disney Lucasfilm. That's not to say that the show isn't without its flaws, and don't worry, I'll touch upon those as we continue with the video. But overall, aside from The Mandalorian Seasons 1 and 2, these first two episodes of Ahsoka feel the most like classic Star Wars, or as I like to call it, genuine Star Wars. Now, what do I mean by that? What is genuine Star Wars? Check it. I think it's safe to say that the original Star Wars trilogy is beloved by a majority of fans. Yes, you can have a little critiques here and there, like for me. When it comes to Return of the Jedi, I don't like the idea of there being a second Death Star, or how an army of teddy bears can destroy a battalion of Imperial stormtroopers. But in the end, none of that destroys the story. It has no effect with Luke and Darth Vader's characters. It has no impact on the Return of the Jedi. Same with the prequels. Sure, the midichlorians were universally a hated concept that George perhaps maybe fumbled on, making the Force less mysterious and more scientific. However, if I'm to quote Thor,
"Your ancestors called it magic, and you call it science. Well, I come from a place where they're one and the same thing."
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
Overall, the relationship between Anakin and Obi-Wan, the deceitfulness of Chancellor Palpatine, the Clone Wars, the fall of the Republic, everything that happens, the story on paper is there. It makes sense, and it doesn't destroy or tarnish the original trilogy. Boba Fett's a clone. Okay, maybe you can make an argument for that, but in general, the story-wise, the prequel trilogy slaps. All of it feels genuine in the art of storytelling. However, when it comes to something like the sequel trilogy, one of my many problems I have with the trilogy is that it makes Return of the Jedi's outcome ineffective. Palpatine gets destroyed, but somehow gets to come back.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
The First Order is already more powerful than the Galactic Empire. Every single Star Destroyer is a Death Star. When it comes to story, it's super unoriginal. Rey's not a character. She's a device that the writers and the studio have no idea what to do with. Is she related to Luke? Is she not? Is Obi-Wan her father? Like, who gives a shit? Give us a reason to like and cheer for her before you attempt to pull off an Empire Strikes Back. Also, the new movies take a literal dump on the original cast, all in an effort to pop up characters like Poe Dameron and Finn. The sequel trilogy takes everything from before and says, fuck it, that was preseason. How dare you? The sequel trilogy doesn't feel genuine at all. It feels like a product. The Rise of Skywalker feels like a damage control for The Last Jedi. There's nothing real or authentic about episodes 7 through 9. Nothing about it is genuine. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show is another great example of not being genuine Star Wars. Reva, God bless her tiny soul, was a bad character. Aside from Vader and Kenobi, there was bad acting and lazy writing. The only cool parts of the show were Obi-Wan and Anakin's, one flashback duel and their main battle at the end, and us finding out the Inquisitor Fortress are seemingly harvesting Jedi. Now, does Obi-Wan ruin anything for the original trilogy? Luckily, no, but the execution of the show itself, every planet being either a desert or an extremely dark town or city, every new character being a bland insert human, nothing about the show was fun or fresh. They didn't even play Duel of the Fates. What? By the way, I'm still very upset by that. Mando Seasons 1 and 2 were great, but by the time Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian Season 3 came, you could tell that something was being hijacked behind the scenes. Corporate meddling, if you will. Aside from the small critiques like, certain editing decisions, the way the dialogue is being delivered, directed, and characters coming off too stoic, along with a new fad that Lucasfilm seems to love but that I hate very much are non-lethal lightsaber stab wounds. Holy shit, is Qui-Gon definitely pissed off about this? Or, maybe he just needs lightsaber insurance? Anyway, aside from those gripes, Ahsoka is fantastic. You can definitely feel the love if you've watched the Clone Wars and Rebels, but overall you can tell that DaveFiloni understands George Lucas and his vision for Star Wars. You can tell the love and the care that's inside the show. Mandalorian Season 1 and 2 were awesome because we felt the care and the love that Dave and Jon Favreau had for Star Wars. They used Western inspirations for the story. Din wasn't this unstoppable force of nature. He got his ass kicked multiple times, even by Jawas. He didn't even trust droids. He was a loner, but over time he learned to care. SabineWren, much as she was in Rebels, isn't some powerful Jedi in Ahsoka. However, similar to General Grievous, Just because you can't use the Force doesn't mean you're ineffective with a lightsaber. Ahsoka, though she may come off distant and somewhat lonely in the show, she never comes off like Reva, where she thinks she's deserving of something, or that she's better than everyone. We understand where her emotional state is at. And heck, who's to say that she doesn't open up more as the show progresses? Din did. Unlike Rey, who doesn't need help, Ahsoka admits that she needs it. Another reason why the show feels genuine is that the show isn't doing the same thing Star Wars trilogies love to do. It's not setting up some ultimate weapon, planet-destroying thing, or some galaxy exterminator machine. It's not bringing the Emperor back through lazy writing. We're being introduced to a ton of new concepts, different galaxies, mysterious alien races, the Night Sister lore is being expanded upon, time and space, and how does that work within the lore of Star Wars. Also, the main villain isn't some Sith wannabe. It's a blue-skinned guy who will fuck you up using intellect. There's a sense of wonder and mystery that the show has as well, and everything about Star Wars, the Force, Darth Sidious puppeteering the Clone Wars, the Zepho from Jedi Fallen Order, stuff with the High Republic, Tantalore, the world between worlds. Good Star Wars has diverse characters, a variety of worlds, but also something to be mystified with. And of course, theme. Mandalorian is all about parenting and fatherhood. Clone Wars, freedom versus oppression. The original trilogy, in the importance of hope. Jedi Fallen Order, failure not being the end. Ahsoka so far is asking the question, what makes a Jedi a Jedi? Now obviously we're only 2 episodes in. Things can change. However, so far I'm liking where the show is at. There seems to be a story that Dave is wanting to tell, and I'm all about it. I love the inclusion of witchcraft and the return of Thrawn, and the possibility of Ahsoka and Sabine learning from each other. Also, BaylanSkoll and ShinHati are badasses. So yeah, as always, I'm a majestic sayer of words SuperCliff, and if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button, and also the notification bell so you'll never miss out on an upload, and so you'll always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. Now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on Ahsoka? Are you guys excited for episode 3? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until the next video, peace. Giggity goo.